Coming up on MilCyberSync, communications giants pushing back against CISA over incident reporting.
Also ahead, no guns, no guards, no gates. The surprising new home for government cyber analysts. Those stories and more, so get ready to get in sync with MilCyberSync.
You're watching the MilCyberSync podcast with Nick Thomas and Layla Guland.
Hello and welcome to the MilCyberSync podcast, reporting on the latest events happening in cyber news. I'm Layla Guland with your host, Nick Thomas. Hi, Nick.
Layla, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's almost Thanksgiving.
It is, and you know what? It is cold outside. It is snowing in parts of the U.S., and I think today it's like 30-something degrees outside with the wind chill.
Oof,
we totally skipped fall. I don't know what happened.
I know. It went from sultry evenings to frigid temperatures. Go figure.
Hey, and just a reminder, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, click on that notification bell for all our latest posts.
All right, let's dive right in. The Defense Department is celebrating a victory today over keeping a level of autonomy granted by the Trump administration. It will retain its expansive powers to launch cyber operations without significant input from other government agencies after a long-running bureaucratic battle with the State Department. National Security Policy Memorandum 13 was intended to streamline the approval process for cyber operations that the then National Security Advisor John Bolton describes in his memoir as frozen solid when he arrived in office. These authorities were used in 2018 to disrupt internet access at a Russian troll farm, infamous for its role in spreading disinformation around the 2016 election, and have more recently played a role in countering Russian cyber operations in Ukraine. President Biden is set to sign off on these authorities in a newly revised version of the memorandum. Nick?
The physical security of data centers is becoming a key concern in cyber defense. The Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Cyber Policy says the conflict in Eastern Europe is critically important for the U.S. Department of Defense to understand, noting that day-to-day fighting and devastation are outstripping the consequences of cyber attacks. This comes after Russia's failure to cripple computer networks during its invasion of Ukraine and subsequent attacks on its infrastructure. Electricity and energy resources have come under intense barrage by Russian missiles in recent months, leaving huge parts of Ukraine without power or heat as winter approaches. The U.S. has increasingly invested in cyber and broader security paradigms like Zero Trust. A Defense Department Zero Trust strategy is expected to be made public any day now. Layla?
The NSA and CISA have released a new product. It's called Securing the Software Supply Chain for Customers. The product was developed through the Enduring Security Framework, a public-private cross-sector working group led by NSA and CISA that provides cybersecurity guidance to address high-priority threats to the nation's critical infrastructure. Threat actors typically target commonly known vulnerabilities that were left unpatched, but a new, less conspicuous method threatens software supply chains and undermines trust in systems patching themselves. In an effort to provide guidance to customers, ESF determined investment was needed to create a set of industry and government-evaluated best practices focused on the needs of the software customer, including prevention. Nick?
A rulemaking process is in the works that will help providers of commercial information and communications technology to implement incident reporting for critical infrastructure. A trade association for some of the largest such companies says they shouldn't be required to report cybersecurity incidents to CISA. Companies like Microsoft, Cisco, and Zoom argue that scoping should be consistent with the National Criticality Assessment.
Yeah, this approach should be encouraged to narrow down when entities are truly carrying out national critical functions that matter to national security, such as satellite communications versus commercial use cases. If a system is not reasonably tied to a critical function at the national level, then it should not be covered. Lawmakers advancing the legislation addressed a need to require reports of cybersecurity incidents in order to warn others in the connected ecosystem to mitigate impacts to the economy. But Congress left it largely up to CISA to decide what kinds of entities should be covered under the law and what sorts of incidents should require reporting. Nick?
NSA cyber analysts have new digs. They've traded the heavily guarded security perimeter of Fort Meade for an unsecured suburban office park in Maryland to be closer to outside threat hunters. NSA officials say they are trying to reduce bureaucratic barriers in order to make it easier for agency talent to work more closely with increasingly vital private sector researchers. The Cyber Collaboration Center now works with more than 250 partner organizations, most of which are companies within the defense industrial base. NSA officials say they operate more than 200 virtual collaboration channels so that analysts and outside threat researchers can communicate more easily. The center has facilitated more than 10,000 analytic exchanges between NSA and outside analysts so far this year. Leila?
Well, meanwhile, the Morrison Center at the National Security Agency Fort Meade East Campus is beginning to welcome its first occupants. The state-of-the-art facility will soon become home to the National Security Operations Center and many more vital elements. Designed to enable the NSA workforce to solve some of the nation's most complex challenges, the 7-story Morrison Center is equipped with many next-generation amenities, including a multi-purpose conference center, modern fitness center, and much more. Project management maintained a strong emphasis on accessibility beyond the requirements of the Architectural Barriers Act by integrating touchless door activators for the first time ever at an NSA facility. As digital threats to our nation and allies continue to rise, the Morrison Center is designed to enhance NSA's ability to defend national security information systems and protect our nation's critical data. Nick.
Before we go to break, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, click on that notification bell for our latest posts related to everything military, cyber, and cybersecurity.
Also, if you'd like to donate to the MCPA, it's easy with Amazon Smile. If you click on the link below, you can start shopping, and a portion of your purchase goes to MCPA at no extra cost to you. Plus, we're proud to take part in the world's largest and most successful annual workplace charity, the Combined Federal Campaign. Our CFC code is 10386, and of course, we appreciate your support. Well, when we come back, a popular app is in the FBI's crosshairs over potentially major security concerns. We'll have that story more after the break. Now, please enjoy this message from one of our sponsors.
Today's network and security monitoring solutions are vulnerable to overload situations that lead to decreased visibility and undetected intrusions. Monitoring applications require hardware to keep up with real-time traffic analysis, making it complex and costly. Your security monitoring solutions may be unable to keep up during cyber attacks or traffic spikes, making intrusion more likely. A new approach is needed to increase network protection and visibility. Axellio simplifies and streamlines your network monitoring for critical security, network, and application analysis. Learn more at axellio.com.
And welcome back. The wildly popular Chinese app tick-tock is under major scrutiny by the FBI's director. Christopher Wray told Congress that he is extremely concerned that Beijing could weaponize data collected through the app that boasts some 1 billion users around the world. The app's parent company, ByteDance, uses an API that it embeds in tick-tock and is seen as a national security concern since Beijing could use them to control data collection of millions of users. Ray says they could even control the recommendation algorithm, which can be used for influence operations. He said that APIs in tick-tock could be harnessed by China to control software on millions of devices, meaning the Chinese government could conceivably compromise Americans' personal devices. Leila?
Well, the Combined Joint Task Force Space Operations has now been established. Typically, U.S. Space Comm executes tactical control for its assigned forces under two functional components: Joint Task Force Space Defense and Combined Force Space Component Command, both reporting directly to the U.S. Space Comm commander. Well, moving forward, the establishment of CJTFSO will ensure unity of effort among the functional components operations, while U.S. Space Comm's headquarters staff focuses on achieving national security objectives. U.S. Space Comm conducts operations in, from, and to space to deter conflict and, if necessary, defeat aggression, deliver space combat power for the joint and combined force, and defend U.S. vital interests with allies and partners. Nick.
7 countries recently participated in a combined space operations center mission analysis. Representatives from Australia, Canada, France, Germany, New Zealand, the UK, and the US were stationed at Vandenberg Space Force Base, California, to analyze the CSPOC's Mission Essential Task List. The list outlines the items critical to maintaining day-to-day operations required to deliver combat-relevant space capabilities to combatant commanders and allied partners. Together, they help to defend space assets, provide rapid and timely space-related combat support, and coordinate with U.S. Space Comm for a planning, exercise, and TTP development. While this mission analysis was progress towards the team's integration and interoperability, there's still more work that needs to be done. Lila?
Well, AI is a part of our everyday lives, whether we realize it or not, and from doing a Google search to asking Siri a question. Well, the same is true in warfare, and the reason why the Department of Defense is investing billions of dollars to develop and integrate AI into defense systems and envisioning future technologies, including the next phase of AI, artificial general intelligence. AGI is the ability of an intelligent agent to understand or learn any intellectual task in the same way that humans do. Unlike AI, which relies on ever-expanding data sets to perform more complex tasks, AGI will exhibit the same attributes as those associated with the human brain, including common sense, background knowledge, transfer learning, abstraction, and casualty. Well, gradually, AGI computers will increasingly be capable at swaying public opinion through social media, manipulating markets, and being even more powerful at engaging in cyber attacks. Some experts predict AGI will never happen or is hundreds of years away. Nick.
The U.S. Army has confirmed that an officially approved app with Russian roots was being used to send customized notifications to their users. At least 1,000 people downloaded the app, which delivered updates for troops at the National Training Center on Fort Irwin, California. The app was built using code from a tech company called Pushwoosh that reportedly went to significant lengths to present itself as a U.S.-based entity despite its Russian ties. Pushwoosh is one of the many software development companies that offer third-party coding solutions to developers looking for off-the-shelf features. The Russian-owned entity gathers location data, device data, and other potentially identifying information collected from apps that use its notifications code and pulls it on its servers. The app fell out of use in 2019 due to routine personnel changeover and likely wouldn't have been approved today due to more stringent IT protocols in recent years. Layla?
Well, finally, 3 people and a magnetics company are facing charges over an alleged scheme to send military data to China and for illegally providing the U.S. Department of Defense with Chinese-made parts for military equipment. The suspects were arrested and charged with wire fraud, violating the Arms Export Control Act, and smuggling. The company, Quadrants Magnetics, was also charged for the crimes. The group allegedly conspired to send some 70 drawings that contained technical data to a Chinese company between 2012 and 2018. The indictment also accuses the company of violating national regulations to import rare earth magnets from China and sell them to U.S. companies that use them as components in F-16 and F-18 aircraft, as well as other defense assets. The 3 defendants each face up to 50 years in prison. Nick. Wow. Hey,
well, if you're in the car listening and would rather watch, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel. Find us at Military Cyber Professionals Association or milcyber.org for all our content related to all things military cyber and cybersecurity. Be sure to like and subscribe and click on that notification bell for our latest posts.
Also, if you'd like to donate to the MCPA, there are 2 easy ways. The first is with Amazon Smile, and by clicking the link below, you can start shopping, and a portion of your purchase will go to MCPA at no extra cost to you. The second way is through the combined federal campaign, and even $1 will greatly help our mission. Our CFC code is 10386, and we thank you for your support. Well, that's going to do it for us. We want to thank you for watching and listening. You are now in sync with MilCyberSync. We'll see you again next week.
This has been the MilCyberSync podcast, brought to you by the Military Cyber Professionals Association. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, click on the notification bell for our latest posts.